All right, chat. The debate shall be on here soon. Liv, have you done your homework?
No. Les and I agreed last night that we're not gonna over-prepare debate points. We're just gonna talk it out because we're civil and friendly and never mean to each other.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was actually talking to Les earlier. Just messaged him, making sure that he had done some note taking, and he sent me quite like a number of paragraphs that he had.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
I think it's still going to be a great debate. I think it's still going to be a good debate, but from me to you, I think he's prepping pretty hard.
Well, hold up. Let me just yell at him a little bit. Les.
I'm here.
No, did you prepare debate points?
No. Why?
Look, I'm just the judge here. Y'all don't get me in the mix. I'm just the judge.
Wow.
All right.
Look, can we get an account of what led us to this point? To have this rift form within our fire team. What has led to this point where arms are being taken up between these two entities?
10 years ago, Bungie launched a game called Destiny. And they've released a lot of expansions and a lot of updates to the game. And we've played just about every single one of them over the past decade. But now that they have shifted focus to an expansion that is more quality of life driven, with more updates to how the systems in the game work rather than actual sex appeal, like updates like a subclass and stuff like that. The question is Bungie making a mistake? Is this new content model, is it really what we're looking for, what Destiny players need? And so Les and Liv find themselves on two opposite sides of this debate. And I'll let them present their opinions on that, but that's generally what we're looking at as far as our argument is concerned.
Here. Now, in this situation, I want to keep it even here, keep it balanced. And I'm going to let one of you go first and give you essentially 2 minutes to have the floor to present your case. And the other 60 seconds. You got 60 seconds. Let's go. 60 seconds
60 seconds?
Go.
All right, hold on. Let me get my glasses on. Hold up. Chill. Let me read. Let me get my notes. Okay, hold up. I need that. Anyways, Edge of Fate is not fucking worth it. And I'll tell you guys why. Price tag is too much for very minimal content. As someone who's just come off a high of the final shape and season of the heresy, or episode heresy, we deserve more of that quality content. Seems like Bungie's taking a step back to fix fundamentals of the game in terms of quality of life, which is free to all players. And that's pretty much everything they're working on. Besides that, this expansion is $40. We're getting a destination, a story that we have no idea what it's going to be about, no hype at all, and a raid, which we're all excited about. We're not getting a strike, one of the pinnacles of this game. So my question to you guys is, and no subclass. My question to you guys is this worth $40?
All right, we're
take the floor.
We're approaching the 60-second mark. Les, thank you for presenting your case here. Lev, you can present your side now.
Okay. I'm saying first off that I don't think it's minimal content, but we'll get back to that in the actual debate. I think that after a decade-long saga, Destiny isn't just tacking on more content for us, and they're trying to rethink how we play. And to me, that's what a live service game should do to stay alive. It needs to evolve. I also want to preface with the most important point, which is I'm not shilling for a corporation at all. I'm just speaking as someone who deeply understands like long-term product value and who works almost in a parallel to Bungie, in that I work at a company that has regular product launches. I work for an independent company, but one that reports into like a mega billion-dollar corporation. And at any time, my parent company could decide to absorb us or that we no longer receive funding. So I think my perspective is rare. I doubt there are many people in my shoes with this lens, and I'm just using my knowledge to share my take on where I think Bungie is and why I think it's the right choice for them right now. So, just hoping that people are willing to listen and potentially take away something that they hadn't thought of before. As we talk about that, where I think Bungie is and why it's the right decision.
Okay. All right. So listen, I very much appreciate y'all's intro into this discussion here that we're having here. And guys, we're keeping it civil. All right. But essentially, we have the side that is hating, and we've got the side that's defending. And I know I'm very much simplifying things, but I want to start this off by first asking you guys a question. This is just a question that I feel like will set the tone and really establish which one of you has a foothold in this argument. What was the quest required to unlock ancient magics in RuneScape? Nobody Google. Nobody Google.
I don't know. I have
don't
no
know.
fucking clue. I have no fucking clue.
I don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. And we're having this
I have no
discussion
fucking clue.
right now. Luke, what quest was it?
The Ancient Magic Quest, obviously.
Good one, Luke. Good one.
It's a very good answer. Good
Damn it.
answer.
No lie, if one of you would have gotten it right, I would have been like, they
win.
instantly win. They instantly win.
They win.
So Luke's going to be bringing in the data here on this right now. The other day we saw a Word doc of all the content we got in Rise of Iron versus all the content that we're getting in Edge of Fate. And I got to say, guys, it looks a little less. You know, it does look a little less. Now, granted, it's hard to make that comparison because in Rise of Iron, we would get everything at once and then it would be massive content drought for the rest of the year, whereas like everything here is being spread out. Les, do you think we're going to get a third Darkness subclass based on the tweet that Bungie put out today? This tweet right here, 3 elements to balance the dark, vivid and bright, always dying, always born anew. Only unjust parents tell their children to walk into death. We ask anyway. The first line right there, 3 elements to balance the dark. What does it mean?
I believe that means arc, solar, and void. So it balances out against the darkness. That's what I think that means.
I don't know that we're getting a new Darkness subclass. I don't actually have any idea what that tweet means, but I don't think that we should get overhyped about something that Bungie has not hinted at.
Okay, I want to just point something out here. Are we talking this year? Or are we talking this expansion?
I'm talking. So I guess I'm veering away on this right now because it's so difficult to talk about Edge of Fate without incorporating Renegades. You know what I'm saying? But Les, you're specifically saying Renegades is not worth $40.
I do not think Renegades will be worth $40 either.
What if the campaign pops?
And I'll tell you why.
Okay,
But
go ahead.
Les, do you think?
You play-
wait, I need to counter before you
me-
respond. Because
Okay, go for it.
not counter, just tack on a question there. If you don't think that Renegades is worth 40 and you don't think Edge of Fate is worth 40, like we pay the 100 for the year. I know you did, I did too. You did the same 100 last year for like pretty significant content droughts throughout, player population dips throughout the year and only comes back for content drops. Is that what you would rather pay that price tag for? Because
Okay, let me. I'm gonna break it down for you guys real quick. Okay, what are we getting this year with Edge of Fate and Renegades? We're getting a raid and a dungeon. This past year, we got a raid and 2 dungeons. If we were to take away episode Revenant, that did not have, which one had a dungeon? Was it Revenant or was it Echoes?
Revenant had the dungeon.
Revenant had a dungeon? Okay, so Echoes didn't have a dungeon. If we took out Echoes and only counted Revenant and Heresy, $15 each, and we talk about Final Shape having its raid, it's $50. We combine all that's $80. That right there already gives us more content in terms of endgame. We're getting 2 dungeons and a raid for $80.
you're talking full year though.
No. I'm talking about the expansions. Think about it this way. If no one bought Echoes and you just bought Revenant and Heresy because you wanted to play dungeons, that is $30 together and you get 2 dungeons while I'm getting 1 dungeon for $40.
Yeah, I think where we'll get held up here is that we're trying to compare 2 completely different systems to one another. Like this year, we are paying $100 for the full year. Seasons are free now to everyone, which probably will boost player population in general and engagement with the season pass. But we're also paying for 2 campaigns, and we usually only get 1 a year. And so I think it's just content different. I don't know if it's content light. Just in the Vidoc today or in the live stream last week, they were talking about how Kepler is their deepest destination that they think they've ever made, where I think they said something about how it's meant to uncover secrets, it's meant to chart your own territory, which is something we've quite literally never gotten out of a destination in Destiny. And I could even argue that a lot of destinations are a waste of their resources at the studio because we play them, they get stale, no one goes to them, no one cares about public events, and we're paying a price tag right now. I get it, it's mysterious, you don't want to put your money where you don't know, like, that you trust it. But Kepler, what they're saying is, we trust this destination. It's going to be the deepest destination that we've made with a bunch of secrets. And if what they're saying is true, then it's just different than what we've gotten in the past. I like the Throne World. I like Neomuna, but most people don't. And there's nothing that's bringing you back to them to be replayable. I'm sort of just betting on world tiers and loot progression systems and set bonuses on armor and these free quality of life changes sort of like legitimately tying into the content that we're paying for once, because I don't think that that's how it's ever worked in the past. And I am fully willing to eat my words if it goes poorly and Kepler is kind of just a shit destination. But right now, based on what Bungie said, I think we're just paying for something that's totally different, and we can't compare the two right now until we've seen it ourselves.
Okay, I wanna drop a couple knowledge points here.
Let's go.
We've heard that statement a lot of, we trust this system. Did the Bungie trust in airborne effectiveness to be better for the game? Did they trust that sunsetting would be better for the game?
Yeah.
They did. How'd that turn out?
Yeah, it didn't go well. I'm not defending those things.
Gotcha.
I believe that both of those things should have been reversed.
I respect Bungie for trying to renovate the wheel with these destinations, but to be frank with you, strikes get played more than the destinations themselves, and I'll tell you why. GMs are a pinnacle of the end game content. When there's a new strike, we get excited for the GM to see what it brings.
For one
once
week.
we're done with the destination, we never go back to it.
Sure.
So
I think we have different playstyles in general.
If we're dumping all these resources into a destination, which players don't really want, if I were to guess, if you were to ask a player, what would you want more? Would you want like a dungeon and strikes and stuff over destination? I feel like that would be the answer most people would go for. Yeah, dungeon will be better. Strikes will be a lot better, because destinations get stale very quickly. There's only so much you could do in a destination before you just get bored and want to go do something else.
You're saying that we get one dungeon this year instead of two. I'm saying we get two campaigns instead of one. So I think that those balance each other out, and we can't get hung up on the one dungeon difference when we've got like a campaign and entire expansion content drop difference.
Here's the thing, we don't know if
we don't know, but you don't know
though.
either, Les. And I think you're saying like GMs are pinnacle. No, they're not. That's why they're getting like completely dismantled for this upcoming release. They're stale. Player count is very low in them. We care about strikes for 1 week when they release, and we don't care about them again unless there's a good weapon attached to it. So I would argue that the loot attached to the strike matters much more than the strike. I'm going to go hop in GMs and farm them, not because of what GM it is, but because of the loot associated with the GM. And then also, my whole point is you're saying we don't go back to destinations. They want us to this time. And your first rebuttal to me was, I hear this statement all the time that we should trust Bungie. Les, I hear the statement every year. This is a make or break moment for Bungie. This is it. Bungie's done if this doesn't go well. Every single year without like
No. I'm saying Bungie trusts in the system is what I'm saying. So they trust in the new revamped destination stuff. But a lot of the stuff they've tried to implement into the game, we don't really like. So what's to say we won't like this? And then if they do the same thing with Renegades, no one's gonna like that. If I'm trying to pitch this to a new player that just finished the game, let's say they finished the final shape, and they go, why should I come back? And I tell them we're getting a new story that we have no idea what to expect, and they'll be like, okay, so what should we do? Well, should I buy it or not? I'd be like, do you want to spend $40 for something you don't know what you're getting? Everything when it comes to trailers and when it comes to Bungie revealing stuff, they normally put their best foot forward. This is one of the few occasions.
I don't think they are this time.
The only other time they didn't put their best foot forward was final shape reveal, but then they made up for it with the second reveal. We're very past having a second reveal for this expansion, and we've seen the same thing over and over and over again, which tells me that there's not much else coming besides what we've already seen, besides the raid, which they don't like to show, and the story, obviously, for story spoilers. In terms of the content, the playable activities, we were shown a Season of the Witch activity in those streams. Why couldn't they show us stuff on Kepler? Public event on Kepler? Why does
because they want us to uncover those secrets, though, Les. And also, a lot of the final shape reveal, I know they were hyping us up with trailers for the final shape, but they weren't showing us anything about the dungeon or the raid or the campaign for the most part. I know that it's more mysterious this time, and I think that that's by design, but they showed us so much about, don't leave us after final shape. There's going to be 3 episodes, and here's what they are, and here's what they're called, and stick around for them. And this time, it's just, hey, Edge of Fate is a 6-month-long period. You're going to complete the campaign. We want it to be as replayable as possible. You're going to make your own fate in Kepler. We want you to keep going back to it and keep grinding new loot and new armor sets and build crafting. And I really think that that's what they expect people to be spending all their time on, a grind. And then in just a couple months, once things start to get a little bit stale with Edge of Fate, inevitably, because this happens all the time, we will already be looking at Renegade trailers, and we'll already be anticipating December when we get a whole new campaign, whole new expansion. And so I just think that there will be fewer periods of what am I supposed to do in this game? And I don't feel like logging in anymore. But to your argument with like just being burned by Bungie and not trusting their system changes, I think that that's okay. And I also think that that's my argument on why pre-order numbers are so low this year. I don't think Bungie expects them to be anywhere near final shape, and they need to earn their trust. I think that player count could increase post-expansion drop. I don't think that a lot of people want to put their money into like trust of Bungie right now, and I think that that's okay. I personally took a 6-month break during Final Shape year. I was so bored. I hated episode echoes. I was in a pretty dire spot with Bungie a year ago. I did not believe in the future of Bungie at all. And I finally do actually see a vision for the game with these system resets. So I just think that there's momentum and potential for the population to increase beyond just how many people have pre-ordered it.
All right, so I'm gonna jump in right now. I will agree that everything's just really ambiguous right now. Not even just the story, but we're getting a raid, but we're also getting something called an epic raid as was dropped. We kind of know what an epic raid is. You know, we've told a little bit about it. And the other thing is we're getting the dungeon in Renegades. Les, you're saying it's not worth $40. What if that epic raid is Pantheon level of great? If they go in there and they like redesign encounters, rethink it, add different mechanics to it, almost to the point where it does feel like an entirely new raid, would it then be worth $40?
No.
Are you saying that just the strike would make it worth $40 to you?
No, I'm saying there's a lot more stuff that we're missing that we haven't been seeing.
Can you describe it though?
Subclass, aspects, fragments.
But that doesn't come with every expansion, Les. That just came with Final Shape.
No,
which was the end of a 10-year saga.
I'll name a couple expansions that we did not get a new subclass or changes or revamps to stuff. Shadowkeep, Curse of Osiris, and what's the other one? Warmind. Warmind and Curse of Osiris for $15.
We didn't get a
$20.
new subclass with Witch Queen either. Just a rework.
We got reworks.
Yeah. So
with new
and those reworks were free to all.
Aspects, fragments.
But those reworks
and
were free.
Some supers. Those are free, yes.
They were not attached to the Witch Queen expansion. So the Witch Queen expansion
came at the same time with the expansion. They came at the same time with the expansion. They're not tied to it, but they did work on aspects, which is gameplay wise. We're not getting anything to spice up the gameplay, only in terms of the free to play content, which is the armor stuff. But even at that point, there's really not much else in terms of build diversity. The same stuff is going to be potent and nothing is really going to change. There might be some few builds that might, rise to shine, you know what I mean? But for the most part, there's really no new builds that are coming. Yeah. Unless we know what the gear sets are, and I don't think the gear sets are going to be that game changing to our builds. I could be wrong, but I don't think it will be. I just think we're
arguing what ifs. Like, you don't have any trust in Bungie. I don't have a ton of trust in Bungie. I think that they're in a unique place right now where they're trying to give this game a future and resetting it, because genuinely, what's the alternative? We keep logging in and playing with the same system that we've been playing with for 10 years, and they don't try to change anything, and they don't do any quality of life resets, and we have no new progression systems. Like, that's the alternative, and it's not working. You see the player count dips. You see the trouble that you think that they're in. And so this is them trying to change that. And I think that we're arguing, but since it hasn't worked in the past, we probably will still stay with the same metas and nothing's going to change and it's all free anyway, so it's not worth it. I'm just arguing that I don't think that that's true. And I think that they have made it clear in their live streams. I don't think that they're hiding anything. They're showing us what's on the table. They're not trying to overhype. They're not expecting this to sell like Final Shape, which is, I think, a big disagreement that you and I have. I don't think that this is supposed to sell anywhere near Final Shape at all. So that's a point that I'd like to get to. But I just think that they put their cards on the table. They showed us what we're getting. And if you're not okay with that, then you probably aren't watching a Twitch stream on a Tuesday afternoon during a lull period for Destiny where player count's low in anticipation of an expansion. Like, you're here because most people here are going to play this expansion next week. And most people here already paid for it.
I really do see both sides here. I do think that a lot of this is just going to be left because I don't even know to what extent the narrative is going to be, like how long of a campaign we're talking about. It is going to be a different type of campaign. It's not going to be linear like we've had in previous campaigns. We've also got the different world tiers. That's something that we've never seen before. But the destination could roll out and be absolute shit. Some people have already commented and been like, it looks like Tangled Shore 2.0. And I get those comments. I would say that Edge of Fate isn't exactly the sexiest expansion Bungie's brought to us. And it could just be the fact that we're going to be experiencing lots of quality of life changes over the next year. And essentially, I think it's going to be kind of like weapon crafting when it rolled out, where think about how many currencies we have with weapon crafting when it first came out. We'll be refining the system. And if Bungie really felt super confident about their system, then they would be rolling out tier 5s for exotics. I think that either A, they're going to be doing some sort of major upgrade to exotics down the road, or B, maybe they just want to make sure this shit's going to stick before rolling this into exotics. And that would be going into next year. Let's get some closing statements though, guys. Y'all have presented your facts. We're going to take a poll here soon in just a moment. But closing statements, I let let's go first. Last time, Liv, your closing statement.
Okay. I mean, I personally didn't see much of a future for Destiny a year ago. I didn't know how they were going to get people to keep playing the same stale system, for lack of a better phrase. Like, I could tell that everyone was getting tired of grinding with sort of no purpose, because yeah, we might not have every single god roll in the whole game, but generally we have everything we want and can make a build and destroy literally anything. People were soloing the witness, like it. So I thought that the system was getting stale and it needed some revamps. I think that these system overhauls are exactly what the game needed, and that they're needed right now because they can't happen in the middle of the next saga. There needs to be a reason 1, 2, 3 years from now for people to come jump back into the game, catch up on what they missed, get really invested in the lead up of the next saga. And that takes time. So I think, the prompt today was, is this a mistake? Is the direction that Edge of Fate is going in a mistake? I don't think that Edge of Fate is trying to out-hype Final Shape. I don't think it could ever out-hype Final Shape. I think it's not here to be loud or overly flashy. It's here to rebuild. And I totally understand not having trust in that rebuild. To that, I say, wait it out, see if it's worth it to you. But I think that most people here today are gonna play the expansion. And I just think I think the most important decisions in game design probably aren't the flashiest. It's the ones that give your game a chance at a future. And I don't think a year ago, Destiny had much of a chance at a future. I think if things go well with Edge of Fate, it actually does. So, and if Bungie's cutting me checks or I'm a shill, my check is very late. I promise I'm not shilling for Bungie. I just have hope in system overhauls and think that it was a great choice by Bungie to focus on it this year.
I want to point something before I do my closing statement. Liv, it's going to be easier to solo win this now with 45% bonus super damage and like 50% weapon damage. It's going to be much easier now. I don't think we're getting weaker at all. I think we're going to get, if anything, stronger. Maybe not, well, we won't be like a jack of all trades where we can literally do everything, but if you spec into that one thing, you'll be able to do all the content essentially, I think. So we're not getting that nerf if that's kind of what you were insinuating.
Okay.
All right.
Luke, any closing thoughts? You've observed the conversation as well.
I actually do have one thought that I'd like to get across. Frankly, I'm kind of disappointed in both of our debaters today because it's obvious you guys didn't prep for this discussion. I heard not a single time you guys mention that we get to be a ball.
I would have been much more excited if we can be a ball anywhere. The fact that we're tied down to a destination kills all the hype for me.
If we get to play as a ball next expansion, and we can
here we
go into
go.
little holes, we can
Oh my gosh.
first add jolt to targets, and we can use our super like right after and all that stuff. I mean, I love nothing more than using an ability that doesn't let me use my old boring abilities. I'd rather just like throw them around super
Luke, the check was rejected, by the way. I'm just letting you know.
This is
Did
no
it
money,
bounce?
brother. This
Did
is
it
pure
bounce?
hype.
It bounced.
Oh,
It did not go
He's
through.
so hyped.
hell no.
He's so
we get to be a
It
ball.
did not go through. I'm just saying.
And frankly, I'd pay any amount of money for that. And yeah,
Luke.
So next
So Luke is on my side.
No. You were hyped for systematic changes. We're talking about something completely different.
You're just hyped for balls.
Content live, okay? All right.
Jesus,
dude.
I
All
didn't
right.
mention the balls because that's not what I'm hyped for. But I'm glad that Luke stood up for the ball.
Well,
I'm glad.
let's poll this. Who won this argument or in this debate? Oh my God! Wow, didn't realize this stream was so full of simps.
I just told my mind.
There's simps?
Read my mind.
Man,
Jeez, dude.
Chad, I'm disappointed.
There's simps because they agree with me?
Disappointed, Chad. Disappointed that y'all are better than that.
He's not disappointed in y'all. I think I articulated my thoughts well and that I came in as an underdog because I have a very unpopular take.
Clearly not. Everyone agrees with you. I was just not unpopular.
I think no. I wasn't telling them that they should spend all their money on Bungie. I was just saying I think that this is the right choice for Bungie right now.
All right.
Yeah. All right. You know what?
Les, you can turn the tide right now. You've got like 30 seconds. Go, Les. Hit him, baby.
I mean, is Edge of Fate a mistake? No. But is the pricing a mistake? Yes. That's kind of
you gotta play dirty than that. Be like, you can't beat me in a 1v1. I got more day one completions.
No, we're not doing that. Cross, this is a civil debate.
Les, you gotta play dirty, man. Play dirty.
Debate.
This is a 2v1 and I still won. It was Cross and Les versus.
I was completely neutral in this conversation. What are you talking about? I was completely neutral.
Hey, the second that I started winning the poll, you're like, oh, simps. You weren't rooting for me at
all. Whoa. I like the competition. I just wanted it to be interesting. That's all.
Yeah.
But it looks like Liv is gonna win this one, guys, at about 66, 67%. Les is at 33%. GG's. Les, we will delete 5 god rolls from your vault.
Yes. Tuck my ass.
You let me know when you want to arrange that. I would love to take a gander, take a look. I promise it won't hurt that bad.
No, I think I'm gonna use the trump card here, where you still need a solo flawless Vesper's host, so you should get to it before the next expansion.
You know what? That's a good point you brought up, Les.
You need to do that.
You know what? Tomorrow we will solo flawless, and then upon solo flawlessing, then I get to delete 5 of your god rolls.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.